Welcome back.
Hey everyone.
Hello there everyone.
Hi.
Morning.
It's your man.
Welcome back to Thou Shalt Play More. Today I got asked a question. What is your favorite PlayStation 1 game of all time? It's a very tricky one. I thought instead of just answering myself, I'll get a few people to give me a hand. So I've got 6 YouTubers ready to tell us their favorite games, including mine. Let's see who's first.
Choose your character.
Hey everyone, it's Tom here from Tom's Toys 95. Mark has very kindly asked me if I want to be in his video, and he's asked me what is my favourite PlayStation 1 game of all time. Now, I did have quite a long hard think about this one. I've got quite a few games that I have really good memories with. There's a Jurassic Park game, there's a Star Wars game, Tekken, I used to love Tekken as well, Croc, there's a few decent games, obviously Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. But the one game that stands out to me most, and kind of the premise of my channel and channel logo, was Toy Story. It's always been one of my favourite films growing up. I love the Toy Story aliens, and Toy Story 2 is my favourite game on the PlayStation 1. This was well ahead of its time. Graphically, it still holds up today. I've played it on the Vita, and I've also played the remastered PS1 version on the PS5. Still looks really good. Controls are a little bit clunky nowadays, but it still holds up very, very well, and there's a full trophy list which I do plan on getting a platinum for at some point. Really great game. I enjoyed going into the attic and seeing Andy's house, and then you go into the back garden, and there's some really, really cool levels as you progress throughout the game. So I can't really fault the game, and especially for the era that it came out, I can only imagine how good this looked at the time. And for a movie tie-in game, they usually get a bad reputation. But this is such a fantastic game. I would love this to get a HD remaster at some point. But yeah, that is my favourite game on the PlayStation 1.
Toy Story 2? Toy Story 2? I think I had it when I got my PlayStation chipped, but because we had so many games, you just never stuck with one. I think I played it for a bit, but I have fonder memories of Toy Story on the Mega Drive. But good shout there by Tom. Let's see who's next.
Hello there everyone. It is Wayne from Wayne's World of Gaming. Now Mark from Thou Shalt Play More has asked me to come here and tell you what my favourite PS1 game is of all time. And I'm really glad he has, because I don't have one, I have two. There are 2 PS1 games I cannot pick between. One day this is my favourite, the next day it's this. Back last year, I was asked to do this exact same topic, and I did pick one for that video. So this has now given me the opportunity to pick the other, because I felt like I'd let it down, I betrayed it. So here we are. Today I'm going to tell you my favourite PS1 game of all time, and that is Resident Evil 2. Now, why have I picked Resident Evil 2? Well, this has a massive nostalgic hit for me, purely because this was the first ever, main game I bought myself. So, it was in the charts at the time, it was a new release, it's the first one I bought. A guy in school, I was probably about 12 at the time, he kept banging on about this game, Resident Evil. His brother was playing. It's amazing, it's this. But I never got round to it. But I was buying PlayStation magazine, and I seen adverts, well, you know, the teasers and things and reviews, and the let's look at this, and Resident Evil 2 was coming out. Soon as I knew this was out, I had birthday money in July, whatever year it was, probably 99, 98. I walked down to my local Dixon's and I picked this up for the princely sum of $49.99. Now, to me, that was a massive amount of money. But was it worth it? This game I have played in and out over the years. I haven't revisited this for so long, and I'm planning on redoing it, and I'm probably going to live stream it on the channel, but I do need to go back to it. This is survival horror personified in my eyes. You cannot beat the fixed camera angles. That really adds a suspense and not knowing what's around the corner. You can't see things coming. When this was released, the graphics were fantastic. The environments especially, I just remember being wowed. I was like, how have they brought graphics out like this? Obviously the models of the characters, looking back now, aren't great. But at the time, I was just blown away. Especially the scene where Marvin changes into a zombie right in front of your eyes. I'd never seen that done before on a PS1, so I was just blown away. The fact that you have 2 discs with this as well, so you can play 2 scenarios. You can play as Claire Redfield or Leon Kennedy. It's just hours of fun, replayability, because you get 2 games in one in effect. And not only that, if you I think it's A or S rank them, I can't remember, I've done it all. You unlock another scenario, the hunk scenario. I managed to beat the hunk scenario, and when you unlock that, you get the tofu scenario. It was just hours and hours and hours of fun and replay value. I never beat the tofu scenario, so maybe I'll have to revisit that one day. But man, what a game. This changed for me. This changed survival horror. This changed gaming for me. The other game that is up there for me on par with this is Metal Gear Solid. These 2 just changed gaming for me anyway, personally, and I think it did for a lot of people and the industry as a whole. Absolute masterpiece. It is probably still my favourite horror game of all time. I just don't think you can beat it. And like I said, the memories. I spent so many hours playing this game. So many hours. Speed runs. I did it all. I just remember grinding this game. I'd hate to think how long I spent playing this game. But that is my pick. Resident Evil 2. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me, or if you like the game, or if you don't like the game. If you don't like the game, I think there's something wrong with you, seriously. But yeah, Resident Evil 2, that is my choice for today. I'd like to thank you, Mark, for inviting me on. And don't forget to subscribe to it.
What can I say? It's one of my favorite games of all time. I've got the Japanese version somewhere. It doesn't matter. I can't find it. But yeah, I've obviously got the PS4, PS5 remake. Yeah, amazing game. But the original is so good, so good. It's one of those games that I've completed about, I don't know, 20 times or something like that. It's just so much fun. You know, every year I seem to come back to Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2. Right, let's see who's next.
It's your man, OG Duffy, and my good friend Mark, Thou Shalt Play More, reached out to me and asked me a very important question. What is your favourite PS1 game? What a question, and quite often with these sort of questions, I struggle. I do struggle big time. But I've narrowed it down to one. Not necessarily because it's my favourite all-time PS1 game, but the one that I probably, as soon as I think of the PS1, it's the first game that probably springs to my mind. But before we get to that, I'd just like to share a few memories and games that was just stand out for me on this system. Final Fantasy VII, amazing, such an immersive RPG experience that was. Oh yes, but it's not that. Tomb Raider, went head to head with the Sega Saturn, didn't it, the PS1 with Tomb Raider. Or I think Tomb Raider might have come first on the Sega Saturn, but what a game on the PS1, and we all know how that console war ended. But that's not my favourite. Well, Mark, Thou Shalt Play More, my favourite PS1 title, well, today anyway, is Ridge Racer. Anyone that knows Ridge Racer knows it was a great arcade conversion on the PS1. It was a quality arcade game. But when I got this on my PS1, this come bundled with it. So it got played to death. The loading screen, which featured Gallagher, was impressive. And then the game itself, I played it to death. Because let's be honest, back then, buying these games, £40 plus each they were. And I didn't have an awful lot of money because, hey, I had beers to buy and nights to go out on. But Ridge Racer was one of them games that just sold it to me right from the off. As I say, come bundled, and I put so many hours into this. So I hope that answers your question, Mark. Thou shalt play more, thou shalt drink more. Thank you for including me in this little PlayStation video. Hope you're well, and onwards and upwards. Cheers, people.
Let's see who's next.
Welcome back to the channel. It is myself, Schmut Pilot 79, aka Top D. Hold up, can I get a rewind? Thou shalt play more selector. Yep, that's right. My man Mark, the man in China, he reached out to me and said, Dave, can you do a little, I want to do a little collab with yourself and a load of other YouTubers about your favourite PlayStation 1 game, PS1 of all time. And I thought, you know what, of course I can, that'd be absolutely great. And so I sat there and thought about it. Now 95% of my collection I actually haven't even played. Of course we did have a PlayStation 1 back in the day when it come out, so we played games such as Tomb Raider, Gran Turismo, Tekken of course, which was a massive one, wasn't it? Because prior to that it was just Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo and the arcades. Now talking of arcades, my favourite game of all time for PlayStation 1, based on my nostalgia and the memory that I have of it, was a game that was big up in the arcades, and we all played that, early mid-90s. And it is a racing game. It is. Ridge Racer! That's right, I loved it. Now my cousins, Mark and James, big up you, they literally had every console prior to it hitting the UK shores, whether it was a US and most of the time a Japanese version, they always had them. So they had the first PlayStation 1 out of anybody that I knew in the UK. And the first game they had, Ridge Racer. Now we got to play that on a big screen TV when big screen TVs were not a thing, unless you were minted or a drug dealer, one of the two, right? Or a bank robber, something like that, yeah? Criminal connections. So yeah, I remember going to their house and playing that, and it was like, wow, it's like the arcade at home. Amazing. So yeah, Ridge Racer is definitely the one for me because I've got such great memories of it. So yeah, big up Mark. Thanks for inviting me on the channel and doing this. It's inspiring me to do similar type of thing myself and invite you back. You know what we're saying? YouTube tennis, ping pong, ting tong. And so yeah, big up man like Mark out in China. You know what they say? It's coming straight out of China. Crazy motherfucker named Wong Tong. Peace, mothers.
Right next door. Ridge Racer. This is one of the games we had on our PlayStation 1 when we first got it. We got it with Ridge Racer, Battle Arena Toshinden, and my sister chose Hardcore 4x4. I don't know if any of you guys have played that. It's not bad. It's okay. But Ridge Racer, absolute classic. I remember that music. Like, what was it? Keep everybody. Right. Let's see who's next.
Good morning YouTube, Pete from Geordie Retro Chasers here. My favourite PS1 game has to be Marvel vs. Capcom.
Versus Capcom!
Taken from the original arcade, it was about as close, I think the Dreamcast was up there as well. It was about as close as you are going to get to the original arcade game.
Ready! Fight!
In fact, any of the Street Fighter collection that was on the PS1, Probably along with Mortal Kombat as well. As you can tell, I was a big fighter game when it came to PS1. So that's my shout for my favourite PlayStation 1 game. Cheers.
Right, yeah, Marvel versus Capcom. Yeah, I remember it on the Dreamcast. I don't remember it on the PlayStation 1. I never had it. I guess at that time I wasn't really into Marvel. Well, I was. I had comics. But games-wise, not really so much. But yeah, great shout there by Geordie Retro Chasers. Let's see who's next. Right, so for my choice, we've already did a bit of foreshadowing when I mentioned my 3 original games that we had. Let me find it on here. Where are you? There we go. Battle Arena Toshinden. Yeah, this is the Japanese version. Battle Arena Toshinden. Basically took Virtua Fighter's premise and polygonal graphics on a one-on-one fighter. It's one of the first games to do that outside of the arcade, but added weapons in. So everyone thinks about Soul Calibur being like the first weapons-based 3D polygonal fighter, but Toshinden was absolutely classic. Bloody classic. The second one's really good too. Yeah, amazing. Such a good soundtrack as well, and just the characters, the graphics. I mean, on here it's a little bit beefed up with upscalers and stuff like that, but it just looks so good. Let's see if we can have a quick game. Look at these guys, man. He was always my go-to, Juke, just because he had this massive sword. Don't know any of the moves, by the way. I'm playing this on my Steam Deck. I've got a little dock for it connected up to my TV, and I'm using a 8-bit controller, wireless controller, which is really nice. So yeah, it's pretty easy. As you can see, I've barely got hit. This music is like Sonic Casino stage music. Oh god. Let me try some like Tekken style or... Oh, I think I did some of that. Oh no, I'm gonna get beat. Ah!
Hi, I'm Soup from Super Pants Gaming. Just want to say a massive thank you for actually having me on this collaboration. It really means the world to me. And when I was asked what my favourite PlayStation 1 game of all time was, my head naturally kind of went to Final Fantasies. And I couldn't really decide between sort of 7 and 9. So I thought I'll get them down off the shelf and have a little look and sort of reminisce. And as I got them down, I sort of noticed Metal Gear Solid there, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm in trouble. And then a couple of rows along, it's like, oh, and there's Tomb Raider. So basically, I gave this a few days and I kind of sort of slept on it, and sort of, there were a couple of games that sort of kept coming back to me, and they were games that I was sort of a little bit in a way surprised about when I was sort of really thinking about it. And my runner-ups, there's sort of 2 games that sort of led the way. My runner-up was sort of Worms, and I'm really nostalgic for the original sort of Worms game from back in the day. So I used to play with a great big group of people, and yeah, it was just absolute carnage. And for those memories, you know, they're irreplaceable, and Worms will always hold a really sort of special place in my heart. But there's one game that I think just kind of blew my hair back a little bit more, sort of thing. And I think with every generation, with every console, there are sort of just a few games that when you play them, you're just like, oh wow, that's a bit different than everything else I've played. And that game for me was, now this may be slightly controversial, I won't lie, the original Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto!
In a nice shiny case for you, so yeah. And yeah, this sadly isn't actually my original copy. This is like my collector's edition, which I actually got rid of my original copy when I got this. But I don't know, I kind of think prior to this game, I hadn't really played a lot of sort of open world games, sort of sandbox games in a way. And just sort of getting into this and sort of stealing cars, selling cars, and running over crates trying to find rocket launchers and stuff. And, you know, I'll confess, this isn't a perfect game by any means, you know. And I remember sitting there with like the map open next to me and stuff for when I get lost, and sort of pulling the map, oh, where am I? Oh, get down there, across there. And but it's all part of it. And, you know, back in the day when you actually think about when this was sort of in the late 90s and stuff, I don't know, to me this game felt absolutely groundbreaking, and it kind of sort of pushed some of the limits of sort of what I'd experienced in video games before. And yeah, I don't know, sort of just going to the phone boxes to get your missions, and yeah, it's just so much fun. So much fun. Trying to get that score to get onto the next level and sort of get up to the next level and progress through the game, get through all the 3 cities and stuff. Yeah, just so many awesome memories with it. So, might not be the best game on the system, but to me, it's a game that, I don't know. You know, and nowadays you look where GTA is, and you know, with GTA 6 coming out soon, the DNA from that game has sort of crept through all the games, sort of thing. And yeah, that's what started it all, and that game has a very, very special place in my heart. So yes, that's my answer. GTA, the original, for my favorite game on the PlayStation 1. So again, thanks so much for having me here, and back over to you.
Yeah, classic Grand Theft Auto. Good choice there from Soup. I remember I didn't have it on the PlayStation 1. I had it on the PC. And there was one little difference on the PC. You could actually get onto the train and go around the whole map. Do you know that Grand Theft Auto was developed in Dundee, Scotland? And the original name for the game, Race and Chase. Can you imagine Race and Chase doing what Grand Theft Auto has done since then? Imagine Race and Chase 5 being like the best-selling game of all time. No, I can't imagine that. So, that was everybody's favorite PlayStation game of all time. Let us know what you think. You can do a VR to this if you have your own YouTube channel and you like making videos. Tell us what your favorite PlayStation 1 game is of all time. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.